All right, hi Practice Indy. So we're back doing another self-manifesto release little vignette. Now we're gonna work on the shoulders. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the front of the chest, and then we're gonna work to the back between the shoulder blades. The deal is, oftentimes we feel it. We feel like the discomfort or the lack of mobility in, the base of the skull, down in between, up to in between the shoulder blades. And it's good to address where we're feeling the sensation. And as Ida Rolf said, where you think it is, it ain't. So working just where you're feeling pain or discomfort is at best just creating, just dealing with like the symptoms. And it's, I was saying earlier, it's like giving yourself some, Advil. It's fine to help you get out of pain or discomfort, but it's not creating the change you're looking for. So let's give it a try. So Brittany's gonna grab her double roller, her rad roller, and she's gonna go, before you turn around actually, we're gonna work on the front of the chest.
Okay.
So you're gonna take it and you're gonna place it vertically, just kind of right at the breastbone. And obviously, depending on your own anatomy, you'll have to be more careful around certain delicate structures if you have like mammary glands that are more pronounced than mine, for example. So be aware of that, be cognizant of your body, and in places that you feel like you can, put some significant pressure. And then I want you to think, you're gonna kind of roll left to right, but the word roll is probably not the best one. I want you to think drag. So kind of push and drag out to the side. Mm-hmm. Then you can add on the feeling of, so if I'm gonna drag to the right, I want you to look to the left. Oh. Yeah, so look away from where nice. You can even kind of look up and down. You can sort of circle your head around a little bit.
Like tasting colors.
Yeah, you can taste some colors. It just depends on what you've done before you started. Like, oh, I had a couple of beers, and then this felt like a good idea. Which is fine, I'm supportive. Whatever it takes to get you on your mat. No judgment. When you get up to the ends, try giving it like a little scrub up and down even. Yeah, and then like 1,000,000 times slower. It's also just life advice.
See what you're doing.
When you feel like you've kind of evened it out and you've got a little both sides, then what I want you to do is turn the double roller horizontally, and you're gonna underline. Let's start on your right side, your left. You're gonna. The thing that teachers do is we like mirror you, and sometimes we don't even tell you we're doing it, so we look like we're like have our rights and lefts confused. Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes it's on purpose.
We're mirroring.
Yeah, so now we're mirroring. So you're gonna have this under your right collarbone. And the deal is, I want you to be under the collarbone itself. And I say this every time I have this conversation. If you go above your collarbone, it's your common carotid artery, which provides blood flow to your brain. So you push on that, and it restricts blood flow to your brain, which then restricts consciousness, which is not necessarily what we're going for right now. So make sure you're below the collarbone, please. And once you're there, you'll sort of feel there's this like pokey back bit of your collarbone and a pokey forward bit. You're gonna just sort of nuzzle right up to that. Great. Now, with both hands, I want you to push into the ball and sort of drag it towards your right armpit as you look up and to the left. Yeah, and then jostle your jaw out. You give yourself like a little arc of like up and to the left, up or down and to the left, up and to the left, down and to the left. Anything that feels interesting here. You're in something called your SCM, or your sternocleidomastoid, and it's this bigger kind of sheet of muscle. So as you're here, the wider ball gets a grip on that fabric, and you just sort of articulate and move around and create some mobility between layers. All right, take a big breath in there. Open your mouth, let it go. And then switch sides. It's gonna be under your left collarbone now. Both hands you're gonna push, you're gonna drag towards your left armpit, and you're gonna look up and to the right. So SCM, sternocleidomastoid, goes from your sternum, your breastbone, your collarbone, up to your mastoid process, which is this little bony protrusion kind of under and in front of the ear. So if you find a sensation of a pin and stretch along that triangle, then you're in the right place. You're also working a little bit in your scalenes and some of the, it's impossible, nearly impossible to completely isolate. So you're getting a bunch of that tissue up in the anterior neck. All right, last time, take a big breath in. Big breath out. Beautiful. So now that we've done the front, which is often large parts of like the there's other ones, pec minor, there's plenty of work to do, but SCM is a good sort of beginning, which is responsible largely for pulling the head forward and a little bit of this sort of curling in action. Now that we've released that, we can go take care of the sort of side effects of that compression. So Brittany's gonna turn around, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna find these double rollers are gonna go between your shoulder blades, right? So your shoulder blades are essentially this sort of like triangle shaped bone, wider at the top, point down at the bottom, that are the home for the root of your arm and your shoulder joint itself. So basically the lower edge of this is about like, I don't know, if you've got bra strap line, lower armpit line, mid rib cage, it's about nipple height, all of those are good landmarks. I don't want us to go any lower than this because when we get down into here, so once we're below the shoulder blades, we're gonna get into floating rib area. And floating ribs are, your rib cage in general is designed, but is there to kind of protect some of the more delicate structures of the body. So we don't want to go poking or pushing into the floating ribs. And then below the floating ribs are your kidneys. And on top of your kidneys live your adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands are, they're mechanoreceptive. So you poke them and they activate. So we don't want to go poking them, they squirt out adrenaline, you're all like jazzed up for 20 minutes for no good reason. In other words, work to stay in between the shoulder blades. The best way to do this, is really there isn't one. You just kind of put the rollers on, if you're by yourself, you put the rollers on the ground, back behind you. You look back, you kind of see where they are, okay, and then you roll back and you hope for the best. Now that I'm here, I can help to aim, and that's fine too. So you're gonna bend your knees and put your knees flat on the ground, and then you're gonna interlace your hands behind your head, support the weight of the head as you start to kind of lean back or lay back over the roller. If this is too intense, we can take a block, we can take another ball, we can take a blanket and elevate the head some. That will take some of the pressure off. If you want more pressure, then first, just think about why that is and examine your life choices. Second, if you still feel good about that, there's lots of good reasons to want more pressure. If you have more developed, more dense musculature, this could be a great choice. What you would do is elevate your pelvis or lift your hips up. So I'll let you make that decision of how intense you want to go. Once you feel comfortable letting your head go, I want you to cross your elbows out in front of your chest. Like you're giving yourself just like a big old hug. Yeah, and you're gonna crawl all the way to the opposite shoulder blades. Then you just give yourself a little rock from right to left. You could open your arms up nice and wide like you're trying to give somebody a hug on the ceiling and then cross your arms the other way. I'll rock right to left. And then what you'll do is, and really in your own sort of agency, you'll scoot your butt forward or back potentially so that you track anywhere between the shoulder blades. That could mean all the way up to the base of the neck or all the way down to like the lower armpit. Wherever you want to work, wherever you need to work is great. Any of these techniques can be done anywhere along this border of the shoulder blade. So you just kind of find like where some stuff is, and you'll find stuff, I'm sure, and you play around in that stuff. I am a big advocate of little jostles. One option would be to find a really intense sensation and sort of dig into it. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I think you're gonna get more effective work with less discomfort by being around that sensation, being around that spot, and jostling and creating micro up to big movements. Big things you can do are, you reach your arms up to the ceiling like you're trying to like grab a rope. So straight arms the whole time and reach and pull and reach and pull. Yeah, that's one. You could do the backstroke, reach your arm way overhead, and then bend your elbow, bring it down by your side, and switch. You could do anything that resembles swimming. So you could do like the doggy paddle, you could do the breaststroke, freestyle. If you've never gone swimming, then just don't worry. Just big arm movements, in other words. Ooh, here's another fun one. Try W arms. So get your elbows down, or rather straight up, arms straight up overhead, yeah. And then keeping your elbows and your forearms more or less on the ground. Bend your elbows down by the side of the body. You know, try to go further than I'm getting arrested arms and all the way down to W arms. Good. Find a little like shimmy, a little jostle there. You can even give your rib cage a little rock from side to side. Now is another good time for a butt wiggle. So always a good time for a butt wiggle. Yeah, take another couple of rounds of breath here. Try one more location. So scoot your butt forward a little bit more if you haven't yet. The reason I like to have the knees bent, and Brittany just sort of highlighted that, is that it's easy to allow your ribs to splay up toward the ceiling. And with the knees bent, you're sort of giving some release to the pelvis, allowing a more neutral tilt to the pelvis, avoiding the more anterior tilt or low back arch. Okay, when you're ready, just roll over to a side for a moment, almost like, you know, fetal position. Take a moment to cry if that's necessary. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you'll roll on up to sit. Once you've done that, do take a moment and just like check out the movement of your arms. So make two fists out in front of yourself. And then I want you to keep your spine, your torso neutral, and then protract your shoulder blades, or in other words, push your shoulder blades forward, yet not so much up. Just think like forward, yes, and then back, retract. There we go. And then forward, and then back, and then forward, and then back, and then back, forward and back, and forward and back, and forward and back, and forward and back. Good. Keep the head upright, and anytime you can make some more chins, especially when you're being recorded, do that, because it's a real cute look. Slowly take this from horizontal up to vertical. So creating a little movement after you do this self-myofascial release work, this SMR work, is crucial. You know, the work alone is great, and encouraging the movement afterwards is a huge part of it. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll have more of these. We'll come back to Indy, we'll come back to Practice Indy and do some more fun workshops, a little more training. But please don't hesitate to reach out. If you've got questions, if there's body parts you need a little advice or love on, you know, I would be happy to be of service. That little disclaimer, please remember, I'm not your doctor. I'm not a doctor. So this is not medical advice. This is just some movement ideas, some tools to add to your toolbox. Thanks so much, y'all.